Hi, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about the structure of an HTML page. What is a good structure? So I'm going to share again my screen here with you. And here I'm showing to you a very simple web page that suppose you would face the web page and you would need to update the web page. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the tags, but as you can see here, I'm not going to talk about the head tags because we have been talking about the title, the meta char sets, the meta description. Okay, I'm going to talk about the structure of the page. So I'm going to talk about the body. Now, as you can see, this web page here has a lot of div tags. And div tags, the problem with div tags, yeah, do they work? Yes, they work, but they are meaningless. They don't mean anything. And when I say meaningless, is that a div is a div. You cannot say anything else about a div. Now, HTML5 brought to us many semantic tags that are good that when you use those, you not only structure your page in a better way without so many divs, it's going to be easier also when you apply CSS to it later on. And also, but mainly the most important thing when you use semantic tags is that you help those assistive technologies, such as screen readers, that are used by folks with disability. So, for example, instead of using a div ID header, I should use here the header tag, okay? And of course, then I would close with the header tag. Much better than using a div, because a header, I'm saying that it's something at the top, at the head of my web page. Okay, imagine a newspaper, that would be the headline. Okay, now we come here and we see a div ID menu. I'm not concerned here if these pages exist, those hyperlinks, those pages, index.html, services, HTML exist. I'm just concerned of what is the meaning of that piece of content here. Well, by what I can see, it looks like a menu. It looks like a navigation. So instead of using div ID menu, I use the nav tag. Okay, so nav tag. So to the screen readers, this unordered list inside here will not be treated as a common list. It will be treated as a list of items, of menu items, okay? Now, I see here div ID content. Well, that here means that this part here is the juice, would be the juice of my web page in terms of content. So that means that instead of using a div ID content, I have two alternatives here. I can use the main tag, okay, or I can use the section tag and end with the section, or I can use the article tag and it would end with the article. I'm going to leave with the section here. Now, in that case, I can easily use the section or the article tag or even the main tag. The difference would be that the section and the article, according to the W3C standards, they require that you have a heading. There would not be a heading one because we already have a heading one at the top. So you would not have a heading one in the middle of your page, okay? So the headlines of the newspaper is way bigger, right? Than the other headings you have in a newspaper. It's the same idea here. So here we have a heading 2, we even have 2 heading 2s inside. So I can have a section easily here, okay? So in this case, I have a whole section. I could separate this section here. I could separate it if I want in articles, if that section was too big, but that section is not very big. It's quite small. So yes, that's fine if I have only a section, one section here. Now, I have another div that was called extra. Now, what is the content here in that div? The content that we have here are hyperlinks, okay? So to local news, to partners, so to other web pages with extra information. That's why it was called div ID extra. Well, in the case of HTML5, I have the aside tag. It's exactly a tag that is used when you are giving some extra information. So sometimes you see those columns in the page and you see on the right side column, you see something like full of hyperlinks, okay, full of extra hyperlinks for the user to use, or for the user to explore. So that would be a very nice fit for the aside tag. It's something besides, it's not as important as the section, okay? That is the juice, the main content of your page. It's not important as the article. It's not important as the main tag, okay? So the aside is just an extra tag, okay, for extra information. And here below, we have some copyright information and we have some address. Well, it's at the bottom of the page. So instead of using a div, I would use footer. Now, by doing those changes, did I change anything in regards to the layout of the page, the order that those contents or those lines will appear in the browser? No, not at all. I did not change anything, but I gave much better information to the browser and to those assistive technologies that help folks with disability. And that's quite important because I'm working with a web page that is more accessible. And accessibility, as I told in previous videos, is very important nowadays. Now, I could go beyond that, and instead, for example, of having a paragraph here, there is something called address tag, because this is an address, right? Address tag. Well, that is giving an extra information to the browser saying, look, the information that you have here is an address. Of course, in this case here, we have a fake address, but imagine this. Yeah, it's gonna give the information to a person with vision disability, depending on the screen reader, saying it's an address information. And that's how we make the page with a better structure, using what HTML5 brings to us, using what we call semantic tags. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here and this screen so you now understand the use of semantic tags and structure of a web page.